Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, Beagles Games Guitars. Today's video is going to be a solo playthrough of Stamp Swap by Stonemaier Games. Alrighty, we are all set up here for a solo playthrough of Stamp Swap. Let me kind of give you an overview of how to set this up and then how to play. So you'll set it up like a normal 2-player, 5-player game, where you'll divvy out these different scoring parameters. You'll have your own board, which you're going to get after the Automa board. So whenever you deal out this yellow card, there's going to be a number at the bottom right, and you're going to match that up with the number in one of the Automa boards. This one happens to be large squares. So after you give the Automa their board and their player colors, you'll shuffle the remaining 4, and then I happen to get the space stamp one. Then you will give the Automa their 3 different decks, and then you have player aid cards, which are very handy, and I'm going to use them to teach this. So you have event cards, scoring cards, and then decision cards. So there's actually 3 different decks that you're going to use for the Automa system. It's not just a 1-card draw. There are also appraisal tokens, 19 of them for some reason, not 20, but 19. The basic turn overview of playing solo is that you're going to draw one of these event cards. I'm going to use another one to ignore everything except for the top. And if you notice, there is a large pile and a small pile, and that's associated with the bottom of the Automa board. So you'll draw these stamps just how they are and place them down here. And the large will have 3 and the small will have 2. There's also a possibility that you can do forever stamps or just the regular specialist cards. So then after that, you will draw a second card and you'll ignore everything on the top, and then you are going to get the stamps on the bottom and place them in your play area down here. And then down here, look, squirrel! You're going to get some text that'll tell you something special that's going to happen on this particular round. And each one's different, and they're kind of cool. After that, the Automa is going to appraise your stamps. She'll appraise her stamps. And then after she picks one of your piles, you're going to get one of her piles. And then you'll place them out here on the boards. So out here, I'm going to kind of get like a running example for you. You'll have probably 6 or so stamps. I'm just going to have one of each so we can have a nice little example here. So here would be an example set. If I could find a rare stamp, that would be nice. So let me do a rare stamp right there. So we're going to use the player aid cards to help us through it. The appraisal section. So you're going to reserve an item just like you would in a multiplayer game. So you can't observe rare stamps even if they're flipped over. That hidden knowledge doesn't help you. Let's go ahead and say, just for space sake, I'm going to reserve that one. So now there's 2 different piles. You're going to separate them to where one is bigger than the other. So let's just say I do it like that. So now for each card and each forever stamp, they are going to earn an appraisal token. So just like that. These are considered 1 stamp, the double stamps. So any stamp that is a value 2 or 3 is going to earn 1 as well. Any stamp that matches the size that the Automa is interested is also going to get 1 appraisal token. And then rare stamps will get 4. So now you'll look at each pile, and this section will also earn, whichever one is the large pile that you are making is going to earn 1 additional appraisal token just because there's more stamps, so it's more appealing. So if you look here, there's 2, 4, 6 appraisal tokens here, and there's only 4 over here. So now you would get the Automa's decision-making deck, and then you would flip over, and that's a terrible example. So let me flip this over. And now in the top left corner will tell you how many appraisal tokens to discard. This is considered like the randomness. And there's even a card right here in the player aid that'll help tell you what are the chances that they're going to take the large pile based on how many tokens there are more of than the other pile. So you look at this card and you'll take away 2 from the one that has the largest. And the one that is part of the large pile, the random, is discardable. That'll make sense later. So now you would reappraise, and look, there's a tie. They both have 4. In the event of a tie, the Automa will favor the larger pile. So now you'll put these tokens away. You will earn the small pile, they will get the large pile. So specialist cards will just go in that area. Forever stamps go in there. And this is not a favorable stamp, but it is a value 2 or 3. So you're going to place it in that area. And then you'll do the same thing for this section. So let's say that this was what Automa had for their pile. They had these right here. That's your reserve. So they'll go and look at this. And just like I said, this will be face up for you. Any forever stamp or specialist card would get a token. This large pile token is considered discardable. This is not a desirable shape, and it's not a value 2 or 3 that we know of, so it's not going to get anything. These are both a shape that the Automa wants, and this is a rare stamp, so it would get 4. So now in their pile, if one of them has 3 or more than the other pile, you're going to take the one with the most stamps and switch it to the one with the least. So there is 2, 4, 6, 7 versus 2. So there's definitely more on this side, 3 or more. So you get the one with the most and switch it with the one with the least. In this case, you would do the tiebreaker would be the leftmost. So you would actually do a switcheroo like this. And it might not make sense because now there's 6 over here and 3 over here, so it kind of balances it a little bit more. And then out of these 2 piles, you get to pick. So let's just say I want to pick that one. Forever stamps will be played like a 2-player game where there's an imaginary player that has 3. So once they get 3, they get 10 points in a tie. And then you would basically get however many if you're ahead or behind them. So that's how you would do the swap phase of this. And then you would go on to the show where you'd place them out there like you normally would. Automa is just going to place them, like I showed you earlier, just randomly out here, not randomly, in the areas according to the size and the shape and values. Then after that, you're going to go into the earning the points for each round. My goodness, I'm just throwing stuff. So now there is scoring cards. So you'll give this a nice shuffle. Reveal a card. This is the theme. So you would look at the theme. I'm going to play at level 1, so we'll ignore all these numbers. The card number is 6. So at level 1, card number 6 is going to earn 7 points for the first round. If this was drawn for the second round, card number 6 would get 7 points times 2, so 14. So you just add that up. So they'll do that each time there is like a scoring phase. So there's only 4 cards, and there's 4 out there, so they're not going to score one of them just like you would. So that's nice to know that they're going to be just like you in terms of scoring. And the scoring is pretty decently like matched with a regular player. So I'll go ahead and get this all nice and set up, and then we'll get going straight away with the playthrough. So first things first, draw a card. Gonna ignore the top, or only look at the top. All right, so large stamp. I'm gonna randomly grab here. That is not a large stamp. Face up. Ooh, -2, but it's a space stamp. All right, a face down. I can't look at that one. And then one of these doubles that is face up. Ooh, canceled stamps. That's their large pile. There's gonna be a card in their small pile. We're gonna have a little bit of overflow here. During each collect phase, you may add 2 items face up from the supply to the pool. Okay. And then one of these long ones face up. Oh, it's a rare stamp. So that's her pile. Now I'll go ahead and flip this next one and use it. So we have rewarding findings. So this will be my pile over here. I get the reserve a stamp, unless it tells me otherwise. 2 face up. A lot of canceled stamps. That's the space one. Let's see, now I need a big stamp face down, but it's a canceled purple. Now a little square one face up, lots of canceled, and then a little forever stamp. So this says both of you score 2 points per face down stamp you get during the swap phase. Place this card next to the daily collections as a reminder and discard it at the end of the day. So I'll place it down here. We're going to discard these out of the game so I know I'm not going to draw from the same pile. So now I get the reserve one. I'm kind of feeling spacey and cancel-y. I kind of feel like canceling something by the end of this. So I'll get started on that. I'm not going to score it yet, though. So now I got 2 piles. These are all canceled. I kind of want this pile. They're looking for large squares, so they're really going to prioritize. They're going to get 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. So they're really going to want this pile. The chances of them taking, I think I'm just going to set it like this. So the large pile will automatically get a token, and then these 3 will all get one. These have a value of 2, so they'll get that. So now Altoma's going to draw one of their decision cards. Let me shuffle it from the little overview that I did. God, I'm spazzing. So they're not going to discard any. So they win that pile. Bummer. So these are theirs. So that is a canceled stamp there. They're looking for that one. And then the forever stamp right there. I will earn these, so I'll put those in my daily collection. And one of those was face down, so they're going to score 2 points for that. I didn't get any face down. So now they're going to appraise their pile for me. So each of those will get one, and then it'll get an extra one because it's the large pile. Cards automatically get one, and then rare stamps will get 4. So there's 3 and 5, so there's not 2 more than the other pile. So they're going to stay just like this. I can get 2 points for this, it would negate, but then I get 1 point for the space stamp, and then I'll get for the canceled. Eventually I would like to score the canceled. I'm not so big on the cards. The 10 points would be nice. This could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It could be 7 points here or 10 points here. I think ultimately I'm going to pick this pile. So I'm going to give them the 10 points and basically another 2 or so because of the card. And then these become mine. And da-da-da, it's a space stamp that's a value 3. That's great. So I would score 2 points because one of those was face down. So now, sorry, I'm not moving this. We did the swap. Now we're going to show. So I would get 1 point per space stamp. So I have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'd actually get 4 points. Now, empty regions. So if you kind of made like a little, that's considered a region. So I could do that. Canceled stamps would be per area. I kind of have to think about this here. Large squares in one group. I do have large squares I could get started on. Color, 3 in separate group. I might just do this. So second most abundant theme. Space is kind of my thing here. There's flowers and then there's animals. So let me do a redo. I'm trying to go for the second most abundant theme, and I'm kind of feeling like I need to somehow make just a group. Those won't touch. Those will touch if I do that. Monuments. There, I made a region right there. Monuments, and we'll just do that. It's going to be weird, but let's do that. So now they're going to draw one of their score cards. Let me give it a good shuffle. And they're going to score size. So their card is 24. So 24 is scoring 8 points in the first round. So they're at a solid 10. They scored that. And I was going to go for second most abundant theme. The most abundant is space, because I have 4 of them. The second most abundant is either flowers or animals, which I'm just going to pick flowers. So grabbing the wrong piece here. So second most abundant, that would be 4 per stamp. I have 2 of them, so that's actually 8. Ah. So there I am now. So then we'll go into Saturday, so round 2. Round 2, I'm going to draw a card, ignore everything but the top. So one of these rectangle stamps, ooh, a -2, yike. A monument. Now we're going to get a double stamp, face up. There's that. No space ones, bummer. I'm going to get a small square, face up. Still no space. And then a large one, face down. Where are the large ones? Face down. And now mine. More to see. Reveal one of Pinzetta's face down stamps. Bam! There it is. So then we'll grab one of these. I get a double stamp. Finally, a space one. 2 face down. Ooh, face down. -1, huh? Face down large stamps. And then we're going to have a face up here. And then a forever stamp. So these are our picks. We're going to go ahead and let her appraise. She's looking for squares, forever stamps. And then this one's going to get it because it has a value 3. And then the large pile token, once I figure it out, I know that one's rare. She's going to want to go after that. I kind of want to fight for the forever stamps, separating my pile, reserving the forever stamp, honestly. And if this is my gold one, I'll set it over here. And then boom, so the large pile will have 3 and the big pile, or the small pile will have 2. So now I have my decision deck. Oh my goodness. Gonna discard 3 from the large group. So they do exactly what you don't want them to do. So they're gonna take the small pile. So get that. This is a cancel stamp. So now I earn these. Great. But I mean, I guess I could go towards the large stamps and I could get 12 points. So now they're going to appraise their pile. Large one automatically gets 1. This one gets 1 because it has a 3. This one gets 1 because it has a 3. And these 2 get them because they're squares. So now there's 2 and 3, so we don't switch them around. So I'll go ahead and get rid of those. I wouldn't mind really banking on the large squares and canceled. She's keeping them like that. The -2 would be all right getting. What decisions do I want to make? Empty regions. I could try and make an empty region right there. I think ultimately I'm going to pick those. I know it sounds weird. That would go there and there. This one goes over here. So I earned a forever stamp. I'll figure out where that goes. I was thinking of placing one here. Something like that. This forever stamp can close that off and make it kind of a region. Or I could do that to further regenify it. There's that. Now, I kind of made those regions. So we swapped. Now we're going to show, which is kind of what we were doing. Oh, I don't know why I shuffled those. I need to take the yellow one out. So they're going to do color. So their card number is 27. 27 at level 1 is going to get 7 times 2, 14 points. So 10, 1, 2, 3, 4 points. I'm getting, I think, 1 point per space stamp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'd get 5. So now, sorry, I need to put hers out there. Now we're moving on to me picking. And like I said, I think I wanted to do large squares. In one group. Yeah, let's not do one group. One color per separate group. I'm not ready for canceled stamps. I mean, even if I did, because I placed that one here, I think I'm just going to rearrange like that. So I could do large squares, and that would give me 12 points. 10, 11, 12. And then we'll move into Sunday, the last round. This game moves really fast. Last round of the game. Let me get my 2 cards. So a forever stamp. A small square face up. Canceled. I'm going to try and really go in on the canceled. Face down. Now it's going to be one of these small rectangles. And then a double. These are both face up, sorry. And then me is going to be gifts for Pinzetta. So let me place these out first. Oh, another rare one, wow. Another face up. This is face down. This one's face up. This one is face up, space stamp. And then a little square face down. Ooh, it's another rare one. So place one item from your daily collection rightmost in Pinzetta's large pile and another rightmost in her small pile. Oh man. So I have to do that and then I get the reserve. Do I want to put the rare stamps in there? I could do that, so could put one of them over there so she could devalue it a little bit. Let me try that here. And then one that she's not gonna want, like that. So now I only have 4 to pick from. I said I was really going for canceled. I can't reserve the rare, so I think I'm gonna do that. And then probably something like this. So out of her appraisal, it would be 1. This is the large group, and then this would get 4. So now we'll shuffle her decision deck here, and she's going to discard 4, as many as we can from the large pile, which obviously she's going to take that rare stamp. So then these are mine. I don't think you're supposed to discard the decision cards out of the game, but honestly, this is such a quick game that it doesn't make too big of a difference. So now over here, large pile automatically gets one. She's after these squares. Forever stamps will get them. That's a level or a 3-point value, and then she's after the squares. So there's not 3 or more in a pile, so she's not going to do any switcherooing. Me knowing that that's a rare stamp, do I want it? Because there's a canceled and a rare, and that's 4 points, so I think that was like a 10-pointer. This would be a good swing right here, so I think I am going to take this pile, and this will go just in her normal scoring area. That one will, this one's a square, and then a forever stamp. So out of the forever stamp scoring, she's going to get the 6 points because the imaginary has 3. So it was 8 points, okay. So now I just need to think about making empty regions, which if I did that, that would actually make 2 regions. We're going to make them touch. Let's try and regenify this. Eventually, I'll figure this out. Something like that. I tried to make the most of it. So now we're basically showing she's going to do theme. So the theme card number is 6. So 6 is going to get 7 times 3, so 21 points. 10, 21. I'm going to score 1 point per space stamp. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I have one of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then now what I was banking for was the canceled stamps because there's no per group in that one. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Times 2 is 20. So 1 behind the 40 and then 1 behind here. So I made it the 50 points before final scoring. So now we actually move into the final show. So forever stamps. Before we do that, sorry. So the final scoring, in the game scoring, minus 20 points for level 1. So she's actually going back down to 25. And then the forever stamps, she'll get 6 because she got 2 and I got 1. So I'd actually get 1, 2, 3 points. And now I draw a decision card from the deck and she's going to earn points. So in this top left section, she's going to get 6 points per stamp. So 1, 2, 3, 4 times 6 is 24. So 10, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 points per stamp here. Thankfully, none of those happened. She did theme, didn't she? And now 4 points per stamp here. These are treated as a single stamp, so this would be 8 points. So she's passed me by 1. 4 points per stamp here. 3 points, so that's 12. Sorry, 9. 3 times 3 is 9. Slow down. Now down here is 4 points per stamp, per card. Now here is 2 points in addition to their face value, so that's 6. And now she would earn 32 points on top of 32, so 10, 20, 30, 1, 2. So her final score was 114. And is there anything else that she earns? No specialist, none of that. All right, so I would earn 3 points. I think I already gave myself those 3 points. So now I just need to run and gun it for this empty regions. So empty regions, 3 points per empty region. Let me mark them with my appraisal tickets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 times 3. 49. Wow. Okay. So if I gave myself 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoa! So I lost by 3 points. I wonder if I gave myself those 3 points from the forever stamps. Now that I'm thinking about it, my memory is not so good right now. Let me put these up. That's it. That is how you play solo for Stamp Swap. I'll take you back down and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so what are my thoughts and opinions on Stamp Swap? I like it. It's a really good game. Another Stonemaier knockout of the park. I like the solo implementation of this one, and I could see that it was quite a difficult one to pull off because a lot of the decisions in this game are subjective and they're more opinion based. What do you think is better? It's not set in stone and not absolute. And I could see how it wasn't easy to be able to mimic a real player in this one, and not as simple as flipping over a card and doing what it says, because the way this game plays is not based like that. So the automa doesn't really play a lot different than a player. You're still going to look at stamps, and very obviously you know which ones are going to be more valuable because of the in-game cards that you place out here. For instance, in this game we had the large squares in a group, so you definitely want to go for large squares, and you have a certain board that tells the automa to go for those, and they'll score more points. So whenever they're appraising, they're going to place more of those little pieces, the little chits that you call them, on the large squares. So that was a really clever, ingenious way of making it mimic a real player. And then also the other clever and ingenious way of mimicking a player was these little cards right here. Whenever you draw one right here, it tells you how many to discard. And I like that because that brought an element of like surprise, where whenever you're playing, if you're playing against a robot, obviously it's going to pick the pile that is the most valuable. But a human player doesn't always do that. They're going to take another pile for other reasons, or they might just take a bad pile and it might not have been a good choice. So I like this deck that kind of changes it each time, kind of keeps you on your toes, and it mimics a real player. I enjoyed that a lot. There wasn't a whole lot of change when it came from playing solo to the 2-player. because there's still only 4 piles that are made, and ever you cut, they choose. Obviously, you're going to get the other pile. So in higher player counts, I can see this being a more fun game. It's a real tight, more intimate, I can't think of the right word, game where it's just you and the other person. So it did a really good job of mimicking the 2-player experience. I've only played this at 2 players. I would like to play it at higher player counts just to kind of see the overall experience, because there's more choices, way more stamps out there for you to collect. There's that card system that whenever you draw, they get their largest small pile, then you get your pile, and then there's still like the little text at the bottom of the card where you get to do something special each round. And that's still present, but just having more tiles overall would be nice to see. So overall, it's a good game. I would highly recommend it for solo. Quick setup, quick teardown, quick playthrough. It does not take very long to get through this. You can easily make this like an afternoon game. You can even play it 2 or 3 times in a row. It's fun, has great replay value because of these 5 scoring parameters that can be different. And the Automa with the different decks, this little card system right here, you just never know how they're gonna play. It's very unpredictable, very good at simulating a human. So yes, I would recommend Stamp Swap. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.